Have you found yourself recently trying to stock up on products or wanting to start stocking up on products? Because that's definitely what I've been doing, because not only do I have like an impeding disability that's going to hinder my ability to drive on a daily basis or at all anymore, but also there's this always weird stuff going on in the world where we constantly have to worry about whether or not we're going to have our necessities and what we need. So since moving and getting the house decluttered and cleaned up, I went ahead and I've been trying to purchase more things to stock the house up. But what I'm finding is I used to be an extreme couponer and I was always really good at finding deals and stocking products. But now I need to start stocking and keeping more food on hand. By doing that though, I would like to shop bulk and to save money and not necessarily to extreme coupon and find a deal, but just shop within the seasonal sales, buy in bulk, and then, manage our food inventory and organize it and have it in such a way where I'm keeping track of basically our meat perishable items and then having a better stock of non-perishable items, because those are the things where I tend to just run out and grab something. So recently I have my storage room here and I wanted to declutter this and I did. So I just have this wall over here with some food and I was just like, this is just not enough. I have the space, I have some shelving, I want to do more. So I decided that I'm going to start a pantry wall down here in my storage room, and I also got a deep freezer, but I wanted to start small with that as well. So I just got a 5 cubic foot so I can start stocking up on like the fast ready meats and stuff for the kids to use, and then just meat in general. I feel like just seeing this in person, I know in the future I'm probably going to upgrade to a bigger one, but I didn't want to overdo it getting started because I also don't want to spend a bunch of money to waste. So that's what I'm going to be doing here in today's video, is just walking you through how I'm starting my pantry wall. So no sooner that I decided to get the deep freezer and kind of take on this whole food organizing project, I did realize that our fridge had some black mold. And originally I thought it was like all over the whole thing. And I was like, this thing needs to be clean, because I always quick clean it, but I haven't deep cleaned it in a couple months now actually. I'm always just wiping it down and I haven't removed this shelf, and this is where it was coming from, and I got really scared and thought we were going to have to throw our refrigerator out and everything. The seal probably definitely still needs to be replaced. I need to go find it, but I did clean it in the meantime because it was really gross, and I was like, I can't organize anything else if my main perishable fridge isn't even clean, so I wanted to take care of that first. So you know me, in good old fashioned, my kitchen is mess. My house is always messy, of course, but I digress because I needed to get something else done at the time. So yeah, my counter was a bit messy, but I didn't let that stop me, because I'm definitely one of those people that wants to do one thing before I do another. And sometimes things are just very easy and you can just go ahead and handle them and you don't have to wait for the other thing to be done. Because in my brain, I'll be like, oh, well, let me clean my kitchen counter first so I have space to remove everything out of my fridge. But I actually been needing to clean this part of my fridge for a couple weeks at this point. So I'm like, you know what? I need to just get it done. It doesn't matter what's on the counter. I can still see there's space to literally throw it up there and we'll just handle it after. So of course I started with a mask, because anytime I'm cleaning dust or any crazy, substances or materials, I try to always put a mask on. I try to, advocate for that, because just creating little irritants can get our immune system into a spike. But you want to let anything set that you're putting on as a cleaning agent, you want to let it set for 10 minutes, unless it's vinegar, because vinegar needs an hour. But otherwise you can use hydrogen peroxide, vinegar, baking soda and water, tea tree oil and water. You can just use straight bleach and water, and then also, salt with vinegar, Lysol, and then of course if you want to buy a mold killer. But I just had this bleach spray on hand, so I just used that and I let it sit for 10 minutes and wiped it up. So for now, this was really good to just get it cleaned up, but I will add the new, what do you call it? The new seal. I will put a new seal on my list of things to get, because I actually have a whole list of things to do to get ready for winter in the house. So I'd imagine when I take it off, I'm going to have to do a little cleaning again anyhow, but I was down here, it was on my mind, so I got it done. I will say though that getting in the crevice of this specific one was hard. I even tried to use one of my little scrubbers for straws. So I'm going to have to find some kind of tool I can get down there with, because I wasn't able to get it all, but I did wash it a couple times. My main motivation for wanting to take on this food organizing and starting like a home stocked pantry project is because in a few short months I will be giving up my car. I'm sending it back to the dealership. It's on lease and I will no longer be driving anymore. So we're going to be getting Ubered around, getting rides from family and friends because I suffer from some low vision issues, and just out of safety concerns to take precautions, I'm going to be ending my driving career. So in order to handle on or take on that, I've decided like, hey, I need to have more stock in the house so I have things on hand. So that way, it doesn't run into, oh, I forgot to pick up A1 sauce. We're out of mustard. Like I don't have a can of beans. So that way I can eradicate having to go through that situation, and also like have to pay probably like $20 to $30 for a quick Uber ride or like a quick grocery delivery when I can just kind of plan ahead. Like, don't get me wrong, there's space for those conveniences, but like living where I'm going to have to be confined to the house and make arrangements for transportation, I want to make sure that the house is stocked up and we have what we need. So that way, product wise and food wise, I can ensure that we always have supplies. Also with that, like trying to recently just shop more, I've just found that I just feel like I'm spending more and more money, and I took a lot of suggestions and I went back to the big bulk store. Like during the pandemic, I just kind of got away from shopping in there, but I'm glad I went back. So I reinstated my Sam's Club membership and I'm starting to shop bulk again. I'm also trying to venture out a little bit and look into maybe visiting Gordon's, buying online, and then hopefully once, I get more accustomed to everything, I would like to visit a farm as well. And then next summer, I'll definitely be visiting our local farms to try to stock up on veggies and stuff, depending on how our freezer situation goes. Right now, we're not fully ready to take on a lot of freezer storage, but I'm hoping with practice and, some maintenance, we'll get there.
All I want is all of you, baby, baby. Nothing less than that will do, baby, baby. You take me higher, higher, higher. You set my soul on fire, fire, baby. You get me like no one before.
So most of you know, if this isn't your first time here, that in our home here, we don't have a pantry. We do have quite a bit of cabinet space in our kitchen, but it's not necessarily large space. It pretty much just houses like exactly what we need. And we actually have an extra cabinet for like the pots and pans and stuff, Tupperware, but I don't use a ton of my cabinet space in the kitchen to actually store our food. So pretty much what we do store is predominantly just perishable items that go in our refrigerator. We actually have 2 refrigerators. We have one upstairs and one in our basement, but the one in our basement pretty much just hosts drinks. So this year though, what I decided to do, if you don't know, it's kind of crazy with the timing how this actually happened, because something going on right now is you've seen a lot of stuff happening with the ports. And with that also, I was like, whoa, I've been triggered. I really need to get some stuff here. After 2020, it's so easy to get triggered and like caught up in this fear mongering that like we need all these things and to start panicking. However, I realized like nearing the end of my 20s, I'm 33 as of this past August, nearing the end of my 20s, I feel like it's just a phase we all go through, like, especially with our kids. You know how our kids have growth developmental phases, and we're like, oh, the milestone for your first tooth and like your first step, your first word, right? And then a lot of psychological phases happen after that, like toddlerhood, where you start growing up to you're a teenager. So different kind of fears start kicking in. Like a common one is like fear of like your parents dying, fear of, you know, being alone in the night. So all these different kind of phases. I think the same happens for us as adults. We just get kind of like tone deaf to what's kind of happening because we just have so many different things always like thrown in our face. But one of those things for me that I've noticed, like with me and my husband and my friends, is we get to a place where it was like the end of our 20s where like we started worrying about the world more. Not only because it's uncertainties and, you know, like all the different things, right? But I just feel like when you get caught up in trying to become knowledgeable in some areas, it's so easy to just get swept up and then like you just become paralyzed and stuck with fear. So because of that, that was a long-winded story, but because of that, when it comes to stocking my food, organizing my food at home, stocking up the house, since I was young, basically once we started having a family, I got to a place where there was a time where I just wished we had that little bit of extra money for a little bit more. So it was always like, you know, I would hit the sales, right? My store back then was Meijer. I would go to Meijer. They used to have a 10 for 10 sale. So they had a bunch of different items, and a lot of it was like non-perishable or shelf-stable items you could buy for $1. And if you get 10 of them, you get 10 for $1, you know, or you get one free usually. It's like you buy 10, you get one free. So I used to be doing that, and I remember being in a place in our budget where it just wasn't realistic to even buy those extra things. And depending on which stores you go to, because if it's a small chain store, sometimes the sale doesn't always carry over per item. So if you buy 10 things, it might be $1, but if you only buy 2, they're $2 a piece. So for a while there, I was stuck in that cycle where I was really trying to like work up where are we going to get money from so we can actually try to start saving some money buying more than what we actually need at the given moment, like at that given week. And that's when I started to really take heed to like, what is it that I really need and what is it that we're really going to use? So one of the number one rules when buying extra food to stock your house up, to do winter preparedness, household preparedness, emergency preparedness, anything like that, the number one rule is always to stock what you use. And then necessity-wise, we understand what it is that we actually need in case of something. So like, do we need batteries? Do we need first aid? Do we need safety? You know, like we can understand those kind of things, right? But also when it comes to like, okay, what if everything's just fine and I went crazy and I panicked and now what do I do? Because I feel like I can't use any of this stuff and I'm out of all this money. Because when the pandemic hit, I did get really scared and we did buy a bunch of canned goods. And literally there was one day where we went and we just started getting a bunch of different canned goods. And honestly, I'm not somebody that uses a ton of different canned goods. So I was kind of like in a gray territory. And yeah, we just didn't end up using half that stuff. We just got it out of fear just to have something. We're like, oh, we don't want to be starving, you know what I'm saying? But it was really just, I mean, it's such a human response for us to think that way, you know? Especially just seeing the chaos around us. Like, it was a very scary time. There was a lot of fatalities. So don't take me wrong there. But we have to take heed that seriousness does happen. But also, you know, for most of us, it creates more bad than good if we just go too over the top. So for me, I just wanted to share with you how to start. So like where to begin and how to actually give yourself a little bit more peace of mind without having to be like, you know, the world's going to end, the apocalypse is coming, zombies. Look, I understand like it's crazy, but like I can't watch The Walking Dead because I watched the first season and after that, my nervous system, like, I can't handle it. I'm like, no, I had a bad dream that I, like, had to, like, stab a zombie to save my baby. And after that dream, I never watched the show again. I was like, I can't handle this. My nervous system isn't cut out for this. I don't like gory, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so anywho, instead of being crazy and making yourself feel, like, more overwhelmed, and then having, like, your family, they're like, Mom, what are you doing? Why do we need all this stuff? And your husband's like, why are you spending all this money, or your partner? And it don't got to be that extreme. It don't got to be that crazy. Your whole bedroom doesn't have to be filled with food. You're going to have to let me know down below where you're at in your journey when it comes to, stocking up for your food and organizing your food pantry. Do you have a pantry? Are you going to start one in your closet or, in your spare room? And if you are experienced and you're a veteran, like if you have any tips, you could drop them down below. I would love them. I know other people would probably like to read them as well. I know along this journey, I'm going to try to give myself the challenge of trying to get my main food storage area in this room stocked within a year. So my plan is to add a little bit to it, like every check bi-weekly. And then of course, I'm also going to be using it. So I'm going to start living in it and understanding like the system that's going to work for me. So I'm sure I'm going to change a bunch of stuff, but this is just definitely where I'm starting. And instead of buying like a bunch of random stuff, I bought the things that I know I use on a regular basis that I know are gonna stay good. Especially with canned goods, they're usually good for their best by date within 1 to 2 years, even though they're good far beyond that. But I just wanted to buy the things I know I would definitely use within probably like a year. And all these kind of canned goods that I'm buying work amazing for like combination meals. So Aldi, in my area at least, and I'm sure probably in yours too, they just have amazing deals. And even when the name brand canned goods are on sale, most of the time they still don't top Aldi's prices. So I went ahead and got my main staples at Aldi's, and then like I'm gonna buy some name brand items too, because I am still a little bit picky, just because like I said, I want to stockpile the things I know we're gonna use, and I want to make sure that I'm enjoying and my family's enjoying the meals when I do make them. But to start off, I went ahead and went to Aldi and I stocked up on their canned goods. And what I really love about shopping in these bulk stores is that the cans come in the cases. So like you can just add a box under it or whatever you want. But basically I bought like a case of each thing that I got. So that way it helps me to stay organized and I can keep track of everything, because I am going to be making like a list. And not only that, when you buy the cans in the case, everything in that case is all coming from the same batch. So you know that most of the times it's all going to be having the same date. So that also helps you when you're keeping tabs on your rotation. So that way, as your stock and organization gets larger, you have an easier time keeping track. But basically, even just starting with a case in general, like one of them costed, the beans were 89 cents each. So for $10.68 a case, I ended up getting 12 cans. So, I spent $30 on, the 3 cases of beans, but they're going to get me quite a bit of meals, because mostly what I use them for, I only use 1 to 2 cans per each thing. So that's basically like, half a month's worth of ingredients to go towards that meal, because it's usually the bulk of the thing, like a soup or something. And I will be having my list of foods that do more than just be a single item, right? Like my can, it's just a can of beans. But I have this thing, like I don't like to eat a lot of different processed foods. Like I still eat a bunch of junk. I still like dabble around with things, but like I don't necessarily like to eat like a can of, for instance, maybe cheddar and broccoli soup. I prefer like the specialty one, or like the one you can get from like Panera or something. So when it comes to canned goods, I prefer to stock up on things that add to my recipe, or it's already like a whole thing that I enjoy. So like a can of chunky soup, or these single ingredient canned goods that I can add to meals, instead of trying to like stock up on food items that are like a whole meal within itself. So not only am I the oldest child, but I actually also grew up with not like elder adults. So I was estranged, well, not estranged, but, I grew up separately from my younger siblings, and, the situation with my mom and dad didn't just, it didn't favor well for like the level of normalcy. So I pretty much just feel like, I don't want to say the outcast, but I do kind of feel like that responsibility and need to kind of rebuild up back on skills and things that you learn like within a family. So basically, like I don't have a lot of the skills that you would see like the elder family members or the elder women in your family like pass down. And that's something I really want my kids to understand, is like from me trying in my efforts on how to, manage your home, stock up your food, like handle your business first, before you go off having fun and spending your money and stuff. Make sure you understand on how to keep your home together. And I know I get scolded all the time for the kids and cleaning and stuff, but home skills and life skills go far beyond just cleaning. And I really, really, really respect and admire the other older women that do this. And Maybe one day when I have more time, I can also get into, you know, like some kind of deeper homemaking skills that have to do with food, like maybe canning. I don't know, I might be interested in it. It might be a little much for me like right now, but seeing like my, you know, love for just having things together, I can see myself getting into that. But regardless, so I always start by trying to check the data on everything, because the other first rule of stocking up on food is make sure first in is first out. So your next closest date, you want to make sure you're using that product and, you know, put the one with more time behind. I also tried to explain this to the kids, because I'm like, don't you dare open this cabinet and just go grabbing anything. Like, you need to get the one in the front or you need to get the one on top. Now, I know I have these other two little pantry things down here, and I'm going to be rearranging this so many times. I can already see myself doing that, but I think I've decided to put specialty soups on that wall storage, like back near my other basement refrigerator. And then basically save this space and this area cabinetry for, you know, the single ingredient food items. Basically over there, like whatever we'll grab for on the wall, like a can of chunky soup, you know, it's like you open it up, you heat it up, you're good to go. Whereas like all these ingredients are like ongoing use or, you know, recipe added. Something that I've really come to realize over the last probably year, it probably happened like, yeah, probably over the last year since getting here, is the fact that I realized that I dealt with a lot of like personal guilt when it comes to like homemaking, cooking and stuff like that, which you'd think is pretty crazy. I have a motherhood channel where, sure, it's about motherhood. I don't share my kids, but I share my journey with motherhood, things that I do, my goals that I'm working on, things that I figured out that have information that I like to pass around to you guys. But mainly it's like I do struggle with that whole sometimes where, you know, you're like, okay, if I share my cooking videos with you guys and I'm like, oh, well, this isn't even really that great. Like, who cares about this? Like, we all kind of make it the same. But that's not the point. It's just the point of like, not everybody does know how to make things. And then also like they want to try something new. And so don't disqualify yourself. And that's what I also really like about food storage and stocking is like, just use what you have, use what works for you. Cause like, I know most likely, sure, I can cook up and whip up, you know, some really nice meals. But at the end of the day, the majority of my cooking, like, sure, I'm including all the food groups, like we do eat some nutritious stuff, but I'm not typically making gourmet meals. I'm not cooking, you know, specifically for like certain diets and things. And it's just kind of like basic stuff. And that's cool. Like, that's totally okay. Like, I definitely know how to cook. We definitely know how to get through, you know, feeding ourselves and nourishing ourselves. And cooking just doesn't have to be that complicated, you know, especially like what we see online. Like, we love looking at Pinterest meals. I know I have on my Pinterest at Mom Likely, I have a ton of like meals and all different stuff shoved into my boards. I literally go on there every night, and mine are so packed that I've, you know, double and triple added like the same food over and over again. Just going on there searching for stuff, and I try things, but at the end of the day, like I kind of still have like, you know, that master food list that I work off of. But yeah, when you're doing this too, just be simple. Like, what is it that you make? Don't turn your food storage and your food organizing project into your Pinterest dream board for your meals. You know, don't go out and buy the most expensive like canned goods and stuff like that. Really try to stick to the basics, because that's really what the whole point is about, is doing it in a cost-effective way. And having these things on hand also keeps you prepared. Obviously, it makes it easier for you to prepare meals in general as well. And then save money just on not running out. So my hope for you in watching this video and starting this journey with me as well is that you'll see that we can actually start a pantry, we can stock up, even if you're just using the space alongside your refrigerator or underneath your bed or maybe a corner in your basement or a spare closet. You can start stacking up these cases of cans so that you can have some things. It's not always about just household stock up where, you know, we're putting all of our ingredients in really nice jars. That looks beautiful. I love display organizing. So having just like no friction when it comes to using things and having a lot of function for just using it and putting it back. That's my favorite way to do things. That's why I really like the open shelving here as well. But overall, we don't have to have like these really pretty pantry setups. We don't have to. The other thing about it too, when it just comes to like actually having your house stocked up and being prepared, you only have one jar sitting on this giant shelf. It looks amazing. It's keeping you minimal. Maybe it's keeping you within your means of buying. if it has something in it, you know, like products, like a makeup or something. But overall, like, you're not maximizing the space that you have even to just store more things to be prepared. That's less store runs and everything like that. So just find that space. Have your jars if you have the space and you can do that, but definitely look at ways where you can actually maximize the space you have and have the best function for a pantry, not just have it be pretty and have, like, you know, labels on it and stuff. And I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just letting you know that, like, this is a little bit different in terms of, like, when you see my videos, I want you to be like, oh, she's stocking up the house, we're organizing our food, this is what I'm doing. I'm not doing the ASMR videos. I'm not going to be stocking up my jars just because I don't want to mislead you, but, like, that's the realm that I'm going for here, because that's what I do in my house for function. I have a few of those things around, you know, but this is what I mean by stocking up the house and organizing the food. So I hope you're excited to come along with me for this little journey. I'm going to try to work at it every paycheck bi-weekly to just add a little bit more here and here to the food storage. This is something that I absolutely love to do. I love to be prepared. I've been doing this since we started a family. I'm going to insert a couple pictures here. As I said in the last one, I lost a lot of my photos from that time frame, but James did have a couple for me to share with you guys. And here's a couple looks at my coupon book from back then. I used to carry this around. I would literally put the kids to bed after we ate and stuff, and I would go out and go couponing at, like, Walmart, or not Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Kroger, and then, like, Family Dollar, and I would just get whatever I could with the coupons. Like, literally, like, couponing really saved us during that time because we just didn't have extra money for necessities. Like, we were paying bills and, like, we were affording diapers, trying to save money and stuff, but having, like, extra soaps and products and hygiene things and feminine products, like, I couponed for all that during that time because, like, it was really hard to come by that stuff. So hopefully, as I work at this over the next couple weeks, filling this up, I mean, indefinitely, it's going to take me a while. There's a lot here. Eventually, this whole wall is going to be part of the pantry wall as well, and that other cabinet's probably going to be full too. I might swap those out, put some stuff here, and get another deep freezer because meat is also something that's on my list. I want, like, fresh, farm fresh meat, and I want to, like, buy a whole cow or something, but that's kind of coming in the future. Like, I'll get there. I'm starting out. This is the beginning stages. Back in the day, I used to do meat hauls, but I don't even want to do that anymore. I just want to have things. We're going to do this together a little bit at a time. Well, I hope you enjoyed coming along with me today for everything, for cleaning up and organizing and getting all this food put away, and just the talk that we had. Hopefully you're pumped up and you want to give this a try as well. I'm going to be creating a few lists. I love lists. I'm crazy about them. I gotta, like, create a new shopping list because having put all this stuff out, I see now, like, the new things that I need to add. But yeah, so okay, I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to give this video a like. Subscribe if you're new. Come along with this journey. So yeah, I don't have the whole food room. I don't have it all figured out, but let's do it together. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.